My name's Elizabeth, but everyone calls me Effie. My mom got sick and passed away when I was only 5. My father raised me. He's a good man with morals, but my mom's untimely death always lingered in his mind. Because of this, he was very strict and could be harsh at times. As the years passed by, the relationship between us worsened. I grew up from a confused little kid into a difficult at times teenager, so there was a lot of conflict between us. At the time, I believed I hated my father, as he refused to let me live life like a normal teenager. I couldn't have friends over or go to parties. As for boys, he banned me from dating until I was 21. How ridiculous he was. My only way of escapism came in the form of my diary. This was where I'd write about the cute boys I liked, how much the mean girls at my school sucked, and how unfair my dad was. Venting out all of my frustrations in my diary helped me to cope with life. It was like my only secret place where I could live as myself without caring if anyone knew it or judged me. But one day, I walked into my room and caught my father reading my diary. I was furious and said some pretty nasty things to him. He was so angry that he slapped me. He'd never ever laid a finger on me before, and as soon as he did it, he looked so remorseful. He tried to apologize, but I was full of anger, so I stuffed some clothes into my backpack, barged past him, and left the house. He kept on phoning me and sent me dozens of messages pleading with me to come home. I ignored them all. I wandered around aimlessly for a while. Then I called my friend, and she let me stay at hers for the night. The next day, I felt somewhat calmer, so I returned home. There was an ambulance there, and our next-door neighbor was in tears. My father had died from a stroke. I was distraught. I loved my father, but he died believing that I hated him. The pain was almost unbearable. I went to live with my aunt in a different city, and I tried to rebuild my life. Then, one day, I received a text message from a strange phone number. "I'm so proud of you, Effie. Please don't ever forget this. Your beloved father." I stared at the message in shock. Was this someone's idea of a sick joke? I ignored the message, but over the next few weeks, the messages continued. They contained information that only my dad would know, such as my favorite story as a kid, the name of my childhood cat, where we'd had a rainy vacation away, and stuff like that. It was all so crazy, but I felt like my dad's spirit was really with me. Lots of strange things kept on happening, besides the messages. A robin perched on my bedroom window ledge every morning. Every time I swiped back the curtains, it'd be there looking at me. When I was little, Dad and I used to bird spot in the garden. He loved robins. As he said, there was something enchanting about them. I heard my dad's favorite song, The Beatles' Here Comes the Sun, playing everywhere. It played at work, in the shops, my friend's car stereo, and in the bar when I met up with friends. It was all so weird, but at the same time, I found it comforting. I'd always carried the guilt of my dad's death around with me. I blamed myself, as I'd been the one who stormed out on him. Then he'd had a stroke and died alone. Now I felt like he wasn't mad at me. Instead, his spirit was always with me, protecting me. I began to send messages back to the mystery number. I knew my father wasn't alive anymore, but I sought comfort in sending them. Then I got a message back saying, "Effie, it's time you knew the truth. Please, can we meet at 10 a.m. on the bench near the north entrance to Finnegan's Park?" This park was back in the city where I grew up with my father. I agreed to meet. I arrived there early and sat there shaking. Could it really be my father? Finally, a man I didn't recognize walked over to me. Then he sat down next to me and introduced himself as Sid. I was so confused, but I let him explain. My grandparents donated all of my father's books to the library where Sid worked. As he sorted the books out, he found my father's old journals, in which he talked about his love for me. This amazed me, as I had no idea my father ever kept a journal. As Sid read through them, he found himself sympathizing with my father and how hard he found life after my mom died, as at the same time, Sid had recently lost his daughter and was struggling to deal with his emotions. He was going to message me and tell me about the journals, but then he found himself typing out the message as if he was my father. As he'd read all of his journals, he knew how to write in my father's style and also knew all the personal information about me. He apologized if he'd upset me. He insisted he only did it to make me realize how much my father loved me. He said, "These things belong to you," then passed me a bag full of my father's journals. I felt so emotional I began to cry, but not sad tears. Instead, they were happy ones. I kept in touch with Sid, and we developed a strong bond. We get on so well that I treat him like my second father. He's family, and together we help each other through the hard times. I read all of my father's journals and realized just how much he loved me. His words helped me find the strength to live out my life to its fullest. As for the robin, it still perches on my windowsill every morning. It may be a coincidence, but I like to believe it's a sign from my dad that wherever he may be now, that he's okay and he's forgiven me. I will always love you, Dad, and I hope wherever you are, that you're with Mom, and that you're both at peace. Hey, my parents weren't the best. In fact, they were terrible. They argued, gambled, drank too much, and neglected me. I remember crying with hunger as there was no food to eat because my parents had spent their last $20 on alcohol. At the age of 5, the authorities took me away. My parents didn't seem all that bothered, as they didn't try to change to get me back. A new family adopted me. They were friendly people who lived in a nice area. They worked hard and cared for each other. They couldn't have kids but longed for a family, which is why they decided to adopt me. They made me feel welcome, and I soon settled in as an actual part of the family. A year later, they adopted a girl who was a year younger than me, Elisa. She was prone to unprovoked outbursts. I guess she'd been through a lot. At times, she also seemed mature beyond her years. I guess we had a normal sister-sister relationship. It was very love-hate, but deep down, I cared for her like she was my real sister. Then, eventually, luck has come to us. My dad's company hit success. The press interviewed him, and there was even an article about him in a nationwide newspaper. The next week, to my surprise, my biological parents sent me a letter. In it, they told me how they both regretted their behavior, but they'd been in bad places. They were better now, and they wanted to rebuild their relationships with me. I was so confused. So I showed the letter to my adoptive parents, and they told me to follow my heart. I love my new family, but a part of me still yearned for my biological parents. I knew I had to give them a chance. They came to visit me at my house. They were so warm and welcoming, and my biological mom wouldn't stop hugging me and calling me her baby girl. As cringeworthy as this was, I kinda liked it. They'd traveled a long way, so my adoptive parents let them stay for dinner. Then afterward, my biological mom complained of having a migraine. She lay out on the couch in agony. Since it's getting late anyway, my adoptive parents offered them the guest room. The next day, I walked into the kitchen to see my biological dad making pancakes, while my biological mom chatted away to my adoptive mom and dad. I couldn't stop smiling. This felt so good. My sister walked in, but she turned around ASAP as she saw us. Her rude behavior annoyed me, but I put it down to jealousy, as she didn't have any contact at all with her birth parents. That evening, my adoptive parents told me that if I was okay with it, my biological parents would be staying for the summer break. I was excited, as it meant that I'd have time to get to know them properly. Elisa wasn't happy about it. I saw her arguing with Mom and overheard a part of the conversation. There's something not right with them. She was silent when she saw me. I had to bite on my lip to not say anything. Why couldn't she just be happy for me? Over the next few weeks, I had an amazing time hanging out with my biological parents. I didn't care that I was 18. I wanted to do all the things I never got to do with them as a little kid. It was amazing. They really seemed to have changed. So, okay, they so far hadn't paid for anything, as one time my biological mom left her purse at home, and another time they had a problem with their bank. But this was no big deal. I just paid for stuff with my summer spending money. Elisa was not cool with my biological parents. She barely spoke to them, and when she did, she made snide comments. One time I gave my biological dad $20 as he couldn't find his wallet, and Elisa snorted and said, "Sounds about right." I confronted her about it, and she told me that I should be wary of them, as she'd caught my biological mom trying on our mom's clothes and jewelry, and my biological dad lurking around our dad's office. I told her to stop being so green with envy, as the shade didn't suit her. Summer break ended, and my parents went back home. We agreed that they'd come and stay for a long weekend every month. Whenever they were over, Elisa acted like a brat. She shut herself in her bedroom and refused to talk to them. One time, on the day before they left, my biological parents invited my adoptive parents to join them on a trip to their hometown as a thank you to them. I found this was a little odd, as they were on the tight side with their money. My adoptive parents wanted to go, but Elisa went on and on about how they couldn't drop their important work meeting on the day after, and she snidely told my biological parents that people in the real world had to work. Elisa was so rude. It was really embarrassing. My adoptive parents politely declined the road trip, and my biological parents left. The next day, my adoptive dad wasn't feeling well, so Mom dragged me to work with her. Apparently, it was about time I learned about the family company. My sister wanted to come, but my dad told her off for being rude in front of guests. Elisa got mad, said my biological parents were frauds and we were all dumb for not seeing it. Then she stomped off. We had a driver take us to the meeting. On the way there, another car rammed into us. It was a hit and run. We were all trapped in the car. It was terrifying. Luckily, the ambulance arrived quickly and got us all out. Mom had a sprained wrist, and I just had cuts and bruises. But the driver's injuries were more serious. The police ran an investigation and quickly found out who'd been in the other car. It was my biological parents. Turns out, Elisa was right, and they were evil all along. They thought my adoptive mom and dad were in the car, not me. They wanted my parents to die so they could trick me into giving them all my inheritance money. Thankfully, they're now both in jail, and with time, the driver will make a full recovery. I can't help but to think about what could have been if my dad was driving and my mom was riding shotgun that day, or if my sister had tagged along, then it could have ended with me losing them. It sucks that my biological parents broke my trust like that. I regret ever letting them back into my life. I don't know how they can be so evil. Family isn't always about blood and genes. I know now that there's so much more to it than that. I worry that I'll turn out like them, but my adoptive family keeps telling me that this will never happen, as I have a good heart. It's going to take some time to come to terms with what happened, but with the help of my amazing family, I know I'll get through it.
Hey, I'm Emma. I was having a great life in school as I've always been popular. I love being the center of attention. All the boys want to date me, all the girls want to be me. Being popular is the best feeling in the world. I'd hate to be an unknown. That must be terrible. When I walk to class with my best friend, Sarah, everyone notices me. I get wolf whistles from the boys and jealous glares from the unpopular girls. Sarah doesn't like the attention. She is super awkward and is as quiet as a mouse around kids she doesn't know. We've been best friends since kindergarten, but if it wasn't for that, then I doubt we'd be friends at all. Being friends with Sarah doesn't lose me cool points because she has one thing going for her. She's super pretty. In fact, I've always been secretly envious of her flawless complexion and long chestnut-colored hair. Luckily for me, boys don't notice Sarah like they notice me because her awkwardness makes her kinda invisible. Life was great. I was pretty, popular, had a best friend who hung off my every word, and I was dating the most popular boy in school. Jake was a year older than me. next level handsome. And he'd asked me out first. Things started to get complicated when I met this boy called Dave last year. He was dorky, quiet, and had bad acne. Yuck. My science teacher, who was totally jealous of me, paired us up for a project. I had no choice but to work with him on our project, but to my surprise, we actually became good friends after that. As it turns out, he's funny, easy to talk to, and we have the same taste in cheesy horror movies. After that, we became friends. Although his uncool status meant that I kept our friendship low-key. There was no way I would ever sit by him in class or anything like that. Then, my friends heard a rumor that Dave had a crush on me and wouldn't stop teasing us about it. Dave turned all red and just laughed along. I bet he liked it. Poor little Dave, as if he stood a chance with me. I then set it straight by yelling at them, "Are you guys out of your mind? I already have a boyfriend. Stop your stupid jokes. It's not funny. Do I have to stay away from all the boys now?" A few days later, Dave posted a picture on his social media of him with a girl. The above caption read, "Hanging out with my beautiful girlfriend." I felt great at first, as this meant I didn't have to worry about him pining after me. But then the stupid thing was, I couldn't stop thinking about him and this girl, so I ended up stalking his social media page. It didn't take me long to work out that this girl was his sister's best friend, and the pic had been taken from a family party. She was not his girlfriend. In fact, she was dating someone else. I guess he must have only made the picture visible to me. Weirdo. It felt good to know that he liked me enough to conduct this entire lie, so I decided to use his feelings to my advantage. During recess, I asked him to go and get me a Diet Cola, which he did without hesitation. He even got me my favorite candy bar alongside it, and I made sure to make a big point about how I couldn't eat it, as I didn't want to get fat. When Jake was at basketball practice, I messaged Dave asking him to pick me up and take me into town. I dragged him around the shops with me and made him wait while I tried on loads of sexy dresses, then asked him what he thought about them. A few weeks later, Jake broke up with me for some college girl. How dare he end things with me? Sarah was super supportive and told me that I'd find someone better. I guess Dave saw this as his opportunity to tell me how he felt. He put a card in my locker. Inside it were 2 tickets to a showing of the movie Us. I heard a cough and turned to see him standing there. "Emma, I think you're beautiful and amazing, and I was, wondering if, you'd like to go on a date with me?" He gestured to the tickets. Dave was a sweet guy, but I was far too popular to go on a date with someone like him. I told him that he was nice and all, but he wasn't handsome or talented enough for me. Then I passed the tickets and the card back to him. He looked devastated, and I felt a little bad, especially as other kids were laughing as they passed him. Dave tried to avoid me after that, but I started the conversation first and ordered him around as if nothing happened. He looked a little sad, but hey, at least I showed him my goodwill to take him back as a friend again. He should be grateful for that, and I knew he was by his smile every time I called him. Then summer break arrived, and he left town for science camp. But this weird thing happened. I found that I actually missed Dave, and I thought about him a lot. Jake split up with that college girl not long after that and asked me back out. And I said yes. Guess he had realized that no girl was half as good as me. Then, one day, I got a message from Dave saying, "I'm having a great time at camp, but I miss talking to you. Hope you're okay?" This was so sweet. Jake never asked me once how I was. I felt bad for how mean I'd been to Dave, but I was glad that he was talking to me again. I messaged him back. "I'm having an amazing time as I'm back with Jake. I am glad the camp's good. Try not to geek out too much, LOL." Then back to school day came, and I have to admit that I was secretly super excited to see Dave again. To my surprise, he came back with a whole new look. He was taller, his skin had cleared up, and wow, he'd got hot. Dave went from being pretty much invisible to popular in a matter of days. All the girls had crushes on him, including Sarah. She asked me for help setting up a date with him since I was his friend. I didn't want to do it, but I couldn't admit to her that I liked him too, so I agreed. Whatever, I wasn't worried anyway, as I believed that Dave only had eyes for me. Everyone has always compared me with Sarah, saying she's prettier and nicer, but Dave didn't have a crush on Sarah. He liked me, and she'll see for herself that the winner is me this time. But uh-oh, my plan backfired badly. They had a great time on their date. Now, to my horror, they're still dating. After each date, Sarah tells me about all the thoughtful and romantic things Dave did. One time, he showed up with a bouquet of yellow roses for her. I'm so jealous. I want to have dates like that too, and not just eating fast food after Jake's done with basketball practice kind of dates. I'm sick and tired of how heartless Jake is. He doesn't care about me, and I know he's messaging other girls as I overheard his friends joking with him about it. I shouldn't have played with Dave's heart like that. Now I have to watch him with my best friend while I'm stuck with a terrible boyfriend. I don't know what to do. Should I keep quiet and let Sarah and Dave be happy together while I'm miserable with Jake? Or should I confess my feelings to Dave and see what happens? Hey, I'm Celine, and I guess all I've ever really wanted is for someone to care about me. You see, when I was 5, I was in a car accident. A driver didn't stop at a junction and drove me and my parents off the road. The man got out of his car without a scratch and came to help us. At this point, both my parents were unconscious and I couldn't wake them. I remember being pulled screaming from the car by that man. Then the car caught fire, and soon it went boom, with my parents still in it. The man told the police that they were already dead when he got me out of there. I guess I'll never know if this was true or not. I went to live with my only living relative, my Aunt Susan. She's a woman of few words, and I've never felt welcome in her home. I don't think she's a bad person or anything. She just likes things done her way, and I obviously messed this up for her. I guess she didn't choose to marry or have kids for a reason. She likes her own company far too much. I spent my childhood going to weekly trauma counseling. In fact, I still go. I guess it's not surprising. I did lose both my parents. Still, I just want to be normal instead of feeling like a freak. As well as the painful memories and feeling desperately alone, losing my parents left me with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. I can't be around fire. Even the flick of a lighter completely freaks me out. My aunt lives in a big house that's freezing in the winter. She used to have a fireplace, but with my fear of fire, she had to have it filled in. Kids stopped inviting me to their birthday parties as I can't be around candles. I can't be in science class when Bunsen burners are being used. I can't roast marshmallows on a bonfire or be in the kitchen when my aunt's using the hob. I don't watch many films or TV shows in case any sort of fire or flames are shown. If I see someone lighting a cigarette, I quickly move as far away from them as I can. One time, this led to me panicking and stepping into the road. A car missed hitting me by a matter of inches. About 6 months ago, this boy named Brady moved to my school. He was a senior, which meant he was a year older than me, and he was really cute and friendly. I was instantly drawn to him, but I never thought he'd be interested in me. After all, I was the freaky girl who ruined birthday parties. To my surprise, Brady showed interest in me. We got on really well, and soon we started dating. I trusted him, so I told him about my past and my PTSD, and he was really supportive. At first, he was so sweet and protective of me. When one of the kids at school made a not funny joke about me being a burnout, he shouted at him. Also, when he took me out to a nice restaurant, he rang them up beforehand and asked them not to have any candles out. Not only did I have my first proper boyfriend, but he was amazingly kind and thoughtful. I fell head over heels in love with him. Then, things began to change. Once, I was chatting to my male friends by the lockers when Brady stormed over and dragged me away. He got really angry and accused me of cheating on him with my friend. I laughed because it was so ridiculous, which only made him madder. After school, he apologized and invited me around to his house. I believed that he was sorry, so I agreed to go with him. I was laid out on his bed scrolling through my phone when his mood completely changed. He locked his door and then stood in front of it so I couldn't get out. I asked what was going on. He brought up the locker incident and went on about how I'd humiliated him and how I didn't love him. I told him he was wrong and that I did love him. He laughed. Then he took out a pack of matches out of his pocket. I instantly felt sick. I wanted to get out of the room, but I knew I wouldn't be able to budge him out of the way. I begged him to put the matches away. I was in uncontrollable sobs at this point. He laughed again, told me I needed to be taught a lesson, then he lit one of the matches and threw it in front of me. I placed my hands over my head and ducked down to the floor. I begged him to stop, but he continued lighting the matches and throwing them at me. I curled up into a ball and tried to switch off, but I felt like I was back at the accident where my parents died. It was horrible. He left the room. Then, a few minutes later, he came in with a glass of water. He passed it to me. Then he placed his arm around me and spoke to me soothingly. He said that I'd driven him to do that, but as long as I behaved, he wouldn't have to teach me a lesson again. I know what he did was wrong, but I love him, and the fear of losing him terrified me. I apologized to him, and he hugged me and stroked my hair. After that, things were okay for a while. I started avoiding my male friends as I didn't want to upset Brady. I told myself that what he'd done had just been a one-off, and he wouldn't do it again. Unfortunately, this wasn't true. One time, I was late for a date night with him, and another time he saw our math teacher smile at me in the hallway. Both of these things led him to lock me in a room and throw matches at me again. He always comforted me afterwards, as he told me that he was only doing it for my own good. I was always on edge and jittery, as I didn't know when his mood would suddenly change. My friend figured that something was up and asked me about it, but I was too afraid to tell her. It all became too much for me, so I tried breaking up with Brady, but that evening he rang me telling me to look out of my bedroom window. He was standing out in my yard with a lighter in his hand. He told me that if I didn't take him back, he'd burn himself. Then he began to burn his hand. I crouched down beneath my window and begged him to stop. He told me that he'd only stop if I took him back. So I did. I'm still with Brady, as I'm terrified that if I break up with him, he'll either hurt me or himself with fire. For the last few weeks, he's been really sweet and kind to me. Maybe he's changed? Please, I need your help. I don't know what to do. Should I stay with Brady and try not to make him angry? Or should I leave him for good and risk him hurting himself or me with the one thing that terrifies me more than anything in this world? I've always been an overly possessive kind of girl, and I can't stand it if people touch stuff that belongs to me, especially if they do it without asking my permission first. And my boyfriend is no exception to that rule. Honestly, I was so worried that he'd cheat on me that I literally couldn't sleep at night. And then I did something that I'll regret for the rest of my life. I met Otis in the guitar club at school. He was tall, handsome, and smart, which made him very popular. But he's not a playboy. He'd only ever dated one girl called Sam before, who he broke up with last year. I often wondered if he still loved her, but I'd started to notice him always sitting next to me in the guitar club, and soon we were talking a lot. One day, he confessed that he had a major crush on me and asked me to be his girlfriend. I couldn't believe it. I was on cloud 9, but very quickly I started to panic. I didn't want any other girl stealing him from me. I made our relationship very public and shared our photos on every social media platform. We were inseparable, and I always kept my eyes on him. Otis seemed fine with this. In fact, he thought it was kind of cute how much I doted on him. But none of that eased my obsession with the fact that he might cheat on me. It was all I thought about. So there was only one thing for it. I had to test him. I had to make sure he really loved me. I created a few fake social media accounts and used images of really hot girls to see if Otis would flirt with them. Then I tried to add him as a friend from these accounts and send him flirty messages.
One time, I even sent super sexy photos to him from one of these fake accounts. Believe it or not, though, he ignored them. I felt so relieved. So he did love me. I could relax. Well, for the moment, anyway. But it didn't take long for the worry to set in again. I'm not proud to admit this, but I even hired a boyfriend test service. I chose the most beautiful girl, even though the service was crazy expensive. I had it all planned out. It was just Otis and I at my house one night. We ordered dinner, and then I told him I needed to go buy some soda at the store. After I left, the girl arrived disguised as the delivery guy. She brought the food into Otis, and I sat in the car outside watching them on my phone. The girl had attached a mini camera onto the box of food, and she placed it on the table so I could clearly see everything happening between them. She was so seductive in her tight, mini dress and kept flirting with Otis, but he just wasn't interested. I sat in the car amazed. I was so proud of him. I had been sure he'd not be able to resist her. After that, I decided that I'd played enough games, and now I could really trust him. But then, one day at school, Sam and her new boyfriend Louis walked past our table. She looked at Otis and said, "You two look happy, don't you? I'm glad you finally found someone to replace me." Then she just walked away, without so much as even glancing in my direction. It was like I was invisible to her. So, she thought I was just some replacement, huh? That was it. I had to prove to her that Otis loved me now, and that she meant nothing to him. Later that night, I texted her on social media, annoyed that she thought I was scared and jealous of her, and that Otis only loved her? I couldn't believe it. I didn't know why Otis had dated someone like her before. I got annoyed and gave her a challenge that we would flirt with each other's boyfriends for a week and see whose boyfriend was a faithful person. She said it sounded fun, and that she'd love a challenge like this. But really, I was only doing this to make sure Otis really loved me and had no more feelings for Sam. So, the plan was set. That weekend, both Sam and I asked our boyfriends to go to the cinema, but then, at the last minute, we both made up excuses about why we couldn't go, even though our boyfriends had already bought the tickets. I went to the cinema where Sam's boyfriend Louis was, and acted as if it was just by chance that I was there too. I asked why he was alone, and he said, "Oh, Sam had a family thing, so I've been stood up." I told him I was on my way to buy a ticket, and he said I could just use Sam's. Yes, the plan was working. We watched the movie together and even hung out afterwards to chat. After that night, Louis messaged me a few times, and one day I even walked home from school with him. By the end of that week, it became clear to me that Louis was actually interested in me, and he even invited me out for dinner. But Otis was also still giving me lots of attention. He even told me about what Sam had been doing and was very apologetic. He kept saying it was really annoying, and why couldn't she just leave him alone? I was so happy to hear this. It felt like I'd won. Both guys liked me, and no one liked Sam. I decided to meet Louis for dinner and wait for him to tell me how he felt about me. Then I could tell Sam and she'd be so upset. Served her right, though, for assuming Otis was still in love with her. But that night, things didn't go exactly as planned. We were sitting having dinner when all of a sudden, Louis leaned into me and kissed me passionately. I closed my eyes and all I could think about was how I'd won, and Sam had lost. But then I heard a click-click sound, and I froze. I opened my eyes, turned around, and there was Sam, standing there taking photos of us. She started laughing like a crazy person, and Louis walked over to her and joined her. I had no idea what was going on. But then they told me they'd deliberately done this. Sam had told Louis to pretend to fall for me, just so she could catch me out. I couldn't believe it. How could she be so evil? She sent all the photos to Otis, and now I feel so ashamed. Otis was so angry, and no matter how much I tried to explain, he wouldn't believe me. And it's all my fault, all because of my possessiveness. What can I do to get Otis to understand I didn't mean it, and that I really love him?
It was the last lap and I was in the final stretch. There was only one car ahead of me and I could see the finish line coming close, so I pushed on the acceleration as far as it could go. Suddenly, I heard a weird noise coming from the engine and lost control at once. The car started spinning like crazy and off the track onto the grass. Hi, I'm Natalie, and it's me behind that wheel. You may be wondering how I got myself into that situation, so let's begin from the start. I was born into a racing family, so the passion for sports naturally ran in my veins. But my life somehow resembled Maggie Payton in the movie Herbie, as my dad didn't allow me to race. Instead, he put all his faith in my adopted brother Jeremy, and by pouring everything he knew into teaching him, with a hope that he'd become a great racer. Only the explanation to this wasn't as complex as in the movie. My mom passed away when I was a newborn, but no vehicle accident was involved. It's just my dad was of the opinion that ladies should be gentle and sweet. So he forbade me from participating in racing or anything even remotely dangerous. Despite that, growing up with Jeremy by my side was truly a blessing. Although not related by blood, we were very close. Jeremy often let me take the wheel of his race car without Dad knowing, and he even taught me all he had learned from Dad. Over time, I was able to catch up to him in terms of racing prowess. Today, he had a big race, and as usual, I went to his room to check on him. But he was still in bed. His face was pale and obviously he was in pain. Jeremy, what's wrong? I think I got food poisoning from that gas station hot dog. Gosh, just drop it. You can't drive in this condition. I can't. This is the qualifying round for the championship season. Dad will be so disappointed in me. So, there's only one way. Hey, I can drive in your place. Are you crazy, Natty? Blah. Jesus, see? There's no time. Under the racing gear, nobody can tell us apart. He was reluctant for a while, but finally gave in. So here I am, in a super cool appearance. I felt a wave of exhilaration that sent me sprinting to the track. Passing other racers with deft accuracy, I left trails of smoke in my wake as I smoothly swerved into the tight turns. When I reached the final lap, I gave it my all and finished in first place. Yippee! I got back to the waiting area after the race, then was suddenly dragged away. Hey, Jeremy's here. I'm all right now. Just want to make sure you made it out okay. Congrats on first place. Thank you. Now switch clothes with me. They need to see your face on the podium. As Jeremy raised up the trophy, I couldn't help but imagine myself in his place, overcome with happiness. That evening, the race was replayed on TV. Jeremy, your style is different today. You finally understood how to drive more freely. I've always said you have potential, yet you don't have the guts to shatter limitations. But if you keep racing like that, we may need to get you another trophy shelf. Yes, I'll try. You were really cool today. Keep up the good work. After that race, I still felt the electric rush lingering in my bones. So I asked Jeremy to let me keep taking his place. Enough, Natty. Last time I did it as a last resort. You don't really want to be a racer anyway. Let me help you. In the meantime, you can focus on your passion. Seeing him hesitate, I continued. If you're afraid of being caught, just be there at all times so we can swap back whenever we need to. Jeremy's Jeremy. Couldn't say no to my puppy eyes. After that, I wore Jeremy's racing suit and entered all of his competitions. During that time, Jeremy would covertly hide among the crowd and wait. Oh, did I mention that my brother is a huge crochet fanatic? He even runs an Etsy business stocked with incredible pieces he made all by himself. Things were going kind of smoothly, but public practice was out of the question because we had to keep this a secret from Dad. So Jeremy's plan was for me to pretend to be dating the team mechanic, Royce, also his best friend. This would give me an excuse to go to the track on a regular basis to practice. The following day, Jeremy took me to meet Royce, and luckily he was so friendly and agreed to assist us right away. Although balancing school and racing was hard, I still nailed it beautifully. At school, nobody knew I came from a racing family as we never appeared together in public. Not to brag, but a lot of guys were smitten with me. However, this dude, Liam, stood out. He's actually Jeremy's biggest racing rival, so I couldn't help but laugh internally as he made many attempts at wooing me in school. If you were a vegetable, you'd be a cucumber. Just to turn green with envy at me on the racetrack, as he had no idea it was me under this costume. It made sense, given he hadn't lost to Jeremy this many times before. Yeah! Hey, Jeremy, what's your deal? Your racing style has changed so drastically. Just then, a staff member from our team turns to me. Yeah, and you've been really quiet lately. I'm just focusing on the competition. And so, this began my official rivalry between Liam and I. We were racing neck and neck, but all of a sudden my engine died and stopped in the middle of the track. I watched as a few cars zoomed past me and Liam took the win. My win. Seeing that dude get out of his car and reveal his smug face had my blood boiling. The next week, I was in another race to make up for last week's fiasco, but this time I had a flat tire. Were the racing gods against me beating Liam? Due to my recent losing streak, some of my sponsors threatened to have their sponsorship withdrawn if I don't win the next race. So this time, I got Royce to triple check that the car was ready to race. I scrutinized every nook and cranny, same as the last few races. If something goes wrong again, then my guess is that you have a petty guy willing to sabotage you. My next race was going well, but on the last lap, as I reached a tight turn, I pressed on the brake and my car was not slowing down. Time seemed to slow as the wall rushed closer. My palms clenched the steering wheel. It was a dance of split-second decisions and instinct, but I managed to swerve, the tire screeching in protest as I narrowly avoided disaster. Close shave. I looked over to the finish line and saw that Liam had once again secured first place. He was definitely behind this. So I quickly got changed and barged into Liam's waiting room to confront him.
Oh, my angel! What are you doing in this fiery battlefield?
It's you who played tricks on my brother, right? Spit it out!
Your brother? Who?
Jeremy Wilson? You sabotaged someone else's car too, or what?
What are you talking about?
Drop the act. You're the one who benefits the most if my brother loses. Recently, his car kept breaking down. This can't be a coincidence.
It just seems like luck is on my side. See, the girl I like also happens to come from a famous racing family. We're a match made in heaven.
How can you be so casual about this? Don't you know how dangerous it is to drive with broken brakes? If not for my driving skills, I would have been injured.
Wait, your driving skills? Were you the one driving the car?
I mean, my brother.
Oh my god, it's you! I knew something's off lately.
Watch your tongue. I didn't say anything. Focus on the actual conversation. You either confess to the crime, or I will investigate and expose your true face to the whole world. Mark my words. I couldn't believe I just let my secret slip to my biggest rival. If Jeremy knew this, he'd definitely tell me to quit racing. So after a sleepless night, I decided to meet Liam for a proper talk, but he found me first.
Are you Google? 'Cause you have everything I'm searching for.
Stop messing around. I'm not done with you yet. The you broke my car case?
I had no idea about it, I swear. I'm competitive, but not that low. But isn't it normal for a car to suddenly break down sometimes?
Put that aside. Anyway, have you told anyone about my identity yet?
No, but what's up with that?
I want you to keep your mouth shut. So let's make a deal. What do you want? Except for a date like in some sappy rom-coms, of course.
Then nothing. Just don't avoid me anymore. And tell me why you have to disguise as your brother.
That's none of your business.
All right, then I'll ask someone else.
Fine. Just promise you won't tell anyone. Then I told Liam everything. And since that day, he had officially become my shadow, no matter at school or on the track.
I need to complain to Spotify for not naming you this week's hottest single. Oh wow, they really look cute together. Even though they're competitors, love always wins.
And that's how we accidentally became a gay couple in the racing scene. At first, I found Liam very annoying, but soon I realized his great passion for racing matched my own, and his insights into the racing world were unexpectedly captivating. I found myself opening up to Liam, sharing my thoughts and feelings with ease, and somehow felt happy around him. But the mystery around my broken car hadn't unfolded, so I couldn't let my guard down. And here comes the last qualifying match before the championships. My dad was also here today to motivate everyone. I was so nervous, yet still had to act lovey-dovey with Royce in front of Dad. Obviously, Liam wasn't happy about that. He kept coming in between us, even though he knew we were just pretending. Natalie, focus! I couldn't stand to keep my secret any longer, so I gotta carry the day to prove myself, then reveal the truth to him and race under my own identity. I turned on the engine's full power and felt its huge force as I raced. My helmet fought the wind, and the air surge was like a thrilling symphony. It was the last lap, and I was in the final stretch. There was only one car ahead of me, Liam's car, and I could see the finish line coming close. So I pushed on the acceleration as far as it could go. As I raced past him, I was both precise and fast. My heart pounded in my chest, and I could feel an adrenaline rush through my body. Suddenly, a strange sound came from my car, and I lost control at once. The car started spinning like crazy and off the track onto the grass. I was dizzy, but lucky enough, not a scratch. As I came to, the first person I saw was Liam. He dropped everything just to check that I was okay. He took me to my pit stop, where my teammates rushed over to support. Suddenly, my dad appeared. I was panicking and I didn't know where to go or hide when...
Natalie, no need to hide anymore. I already know.
How?
That doesn't matter. Look at you. What a mess.
I just wanted to prove to you that I can do it. This is my passion. Why do you always stop me?
Your passion? You mean falling off the track?
You just ignored all the times I'd won first place. You're a terrible, selfish, evil father who has no love for your children and always forces others to do this, do that. People don't respect you because they want to. Everyone only listens to you because they're afraid of you, just like me and Jeremy. Just then, Dad slapped me hard across the cheek. I stumbled back and fell onto Liam. It was you, wasn't it?
I'm sorry. I just couldn't watch you get yourself in danger anymore.
Meeting you is my entire life's greatest regret. Before anyone could see me cry, I ran away. I have nothing left. No one understands me. No one. I lay there in my room, consumed by a cloud of gloom after Dad's week-long grounding. Suddenly, a pebble knocked at my window. It was Liam. He was trying to throw a rope up to me. After a moment of hesitation, I finally climbed down.
I'm sorry I went behind your back. I didn't know your dad would go that far. I care about you and just want you to be safe. But now I realize the way to do that is to find the true culprit who vandalized your car.
Liam's apology felt really sincere. Look at him. I couldn't stay mad forever.
The last time you raced, you never left your car's side. The pre-checks are where we need to look into. Are you sure you can fully trust this Royce guy?
He's my brother's best friend. Why would he sabotage me? You're just being subjective. Suddenly, a memory resurfaced in me. Last week, I saw Royce lingering around the car for longer than the usual inspection. He told me that I need a new head gasket or else I wouldn't be able to accelerate without blowing the engine. Now, when I think of it, it seems kind of fishy. So we rushed to Royce's shop immediately.
Natalie, what are you doing here? I'm sorry to hear things have been rough between you and your dad.
But you're not sorry for almost taking my life?
What are you talking about?
Cut the act. I've got all the evidence against you.
What evidence?
Shut up. I have CCTV footage of your criminal acts. If I give it to the racing committee, you'll be out for good. What do you think? My hands were trembling as I hoped that Royce couldn't see through my bluff. But shockingly, Royce's face went pale and he crumbled to the ground.
All right, Natalie, it's me. But I didn't mean to hurt you. I just want to help Jeremy.
How does that help Jeremy?
Actually, I have a crush on him, and Jeremy confided in me once. I don't know what to do. I love Natalie very much, but I always feel self-conscious in front of her. I'm just an adopted child. Becoming a racer is all that my dad wishes for me. If I stop racing, he won't love me anymore. Meanwhile, Natalie's far better than me from the beginning. If Dad finds out I'm such a loser, he will disown me.
Jeremy, my poor brother.
I just wanted to scare you into not racing. Everything I did to your car was carefully deliberated beforehand so that you wouldn't get hurt. I'm sorry. I'll find a way to fix everything.
I got home later that night, only to hear arguing from the living room.
What you did to Natalie was unfair. You kept her from doing what she loves, just like me. I've never dared to admit this, but now, Dad, racing isn't my passion. This is. What? But you find it too girly, right? Actually, I just race to please you, and only this simple thing makes me happy.
Unable to stand by, I interjected, revealing how Jeremy was living in so much fear among his own family. They were shocked for a moment. Then Dad said,
Jeremy, it's all my fault to put so much pressure on you and make you feel like you weren't loved enough. You're always my son, no matter if you choose racing or not. And Natalie, I'm sorry for hitting you. The pain on your cheek may have gone, but still lingers in my hand. I just didn't want to risk losing you. I never told you this, but when your mother was pregnant with you, she got sick, and I could have lost both of you when she went into labor. Ever since that day, I swore to keep you safe, alive, and healthy.
Dad, I love you, but I love racing too. I hope that I can count on your support on the track. Then I revealed that Royce was the one who sabotaged my car. They were both shocked and furious, especially Jeremy. But after being told the full story, they decided to forgive Royce as he showed his remorse by confessing his crime and was temporarily suspended. We had not seen him since then. True compassion lies not only in caring for someone, but also in caring for them in the right way. Misguided intentions can unintentionally sow the seeds of unintended consequences. Finally, I could officially join the race using my own name. Dad came to see me today as well. He seemed quite concerned, but encouraged me anyway. Suddenly, Liam approached me.
If I win this time, fair and square, would you go on a date with me?
You have no chance to win, but a date? You earned it.
I was tidying up my room when a call came through. Oh, my big sister! She lives with Mom, so I've not seen her in a year. Blair! It's been a hot minute. How have you been? Hi, Kiernan. Well, not so good. Mom left. Oh no! What happened? Then Blair told me it's due to Mom's debts. She had run away from the loan sharks and left my sister behind. That's awful! So I told her to come to Portland and live with us. She agreed to come, but then I realized that Blair staying here wasn't really down to me. Oh well, it's not like I could leave her in danger, right? So later over dinner, I told my family about Blair's current situation. Oh, how terrible! Yes, Blair must come and stay. Yay! Their kindness didn't surprise me as my stepmom and stepsis, Chrissy, have been lovely to me ever since I moved in. You know what's even cooler? Christy is a rising teen pop star, but she's so sweet. We've grown super close, and she even told me all about her secret boyfriend, Damien. They'd been together long before Chrissy became famous, and had since kept their relationship out of the public eye. This is so exciting! I haven't seen Blair since our parents split. This guest bedroom is going to be hers, and we're living under one roof again. Blair's basically my alter ego. She's pretty, outgoing, and popular, while I'm more of a homebody. Come to think of it, I see a lot of Blair and Chrissy. They're both so extroverted and confident. They'll get along just great. But to everyone's surprise, Blair showed up looking completely different. Wow, it seems like living with Mom, a party animal, had clearly influenced Blair. Hello, Blair. I'm Stacy, and this is my daughter, Chrissy. Welcome to Portland. You must be tired from your trip. Let me take your bag. Sure. Huh? Doesn't it seem like everyone's excited about Blair's arrival, all except for Blair? Maybe she's just tired. I showed Blair her room and helped her unpack. Oh my god, they're unbearable. How can you stand living with them? They think they're so much better than everyone else. What? Blair had only spoken to them for 5 seconds. Why she disliked them so much already? Give them a chance, they're really lovely. Blair's probably just stressed out from all the mom stuff. Hopefully, with time, she'll see how great stepmom and Chrissy are. Only things didn't get any better. After class, both Chrissy and Blair came up to me. Hey, wanna hang out? I asked her first. Oh, then we can all go together. Sorry, Chrissy. It's just that we haven't seen each other in ages, and there's a lot of catching up to do. Maybe we can go to Sephora tomorrow to check out that new Anastasia palette you like. Sure, have fun. Then Chrissy left. I'm sure she really wants us all to hang out. Oh, please. She thinks just 'cause she's popular, she can always get her own way. She's mid. Okay, maybe it's best not to mention either of my sisters to one another to avoid World War III. Things went on like that for a while. I took turns to hang out with Blair and Chrissy. Once when Blair was chilling in my room, I noticed her smiling at her phone. Seemed like our homegirl had finally found something fun to enjoy around here. I excitedly asked her what she was watching. Look, isn't he cute? He goes to our school also. Wait, no, it can't be. That's Damien, Chrissy's secret boyfriend. If Blair learns that the girl she hates is her crush's girlfriend, all hell will break loose. I think I'll ask him out. Really? He's so popular, he must have hundreds of girls wrapped around his finger already. Besides, what if he's not into you? You'll only be rejected and get hurt. What do you mean? Am I not pretty enough? Oh, I see. You think that a popular guy like him is only suitable for your famous, fabulous other sister, Chrissy, don't you? No, that's not what I mean. You're gorgeous. In fact, out of his league. You deserve a guy who has time just for you. So why bother competing for attention from someone like him? Okay, thanks. But he's my type. I'll ask for his number Monday morning. Oh no, I just accidentally encouraged Blair to ask out Chrissy's boyfriend. I can't reveal that Chrissy and Damien are secretly together, but I can't let Blair steal someone else's boyfriend either. What a mess. I tossed and turned all night. Then when I woke up, I decided I'd just have to make Blair stop liking Damien. I don't condone catfishing, but right now it's the only way. Hey there, Blair, right? It's Damien here from math class. What you doing? A few seconds later, Blair replied, Oh my god, I was just thinking about getting your number. Looks like the first steps of my plan are working. I texted Blair as Damien regularly. I made sure he was a man of 1,000 red flags. But for some puzzling reason, Blair seemed smitten with him. I gave him a seriously challengeable temperament. He could throw a tantrum one moment and become sweet the next. Then I photoshopped Damien's selfie into a photo of a messy bedroom, then sent it to Blair. Surely she couldn't abide by a narcissistic, messy guy like him. I'm so sorry, Damien, but I have to save my family. Huh? What? She sent back a picture of her room being messier than ever. She's always the clean freak around here. I had to see with my own eyes. Hey, may I borrow your hair curler? And what's with your room? So what if it's a bit untidy? Neat people are total psychos. Okay, it's time to get personal. Blair's biggest pet peeve was being commented on her look. So when she sent Damien a selfie, I didn't hold back. Babe, can't you dress more ladylike? And you really should cover up that awful tattoo. Voila! That's how you wake up the beast inside this fierce girl. However, the next day, Blair showed up with a completely new look. Worse still, she walked straight over to Damien. I had to fake having an emergency to prevent a disaster from happening. Afterward, I texted Blair. I'm not ready to let everyone know about us yet. Please understand, babe. You know I like you. There, that should stop her from trying to approach him again. Even so, during lunch, Blair wouldn't stop blabbering about Damien and showing me his texts. Isn't he quite rude? You don't normally let guys tell you what to do. He's not. He's just opinionated. I'm into that. No, he's horrible. I don't understand why you like him. He's sweet. You just don't know him like I do. Our love is complicated, but that's what makes it special. Seriously, you called that love? What do you know? Okay, little Miss Love Guru, if you're really that experienced, make that guy your boyfriend. Succeed, and I'll give out the love of my life. If not, I'll do as I please. What Blair is daring me to do was impossible. That guy, Adrian, is as popular as Damien. While Damien's the friendly one, Adrian is nicknamed Jack Frost due to his icy cold exterior. Rumor has it, no one has ever seen him crack a smile. Surrender? As expected. Then step aside, sister. Not knowing what else to do, I agreed to the bet. This is for Blair, for Chrissy, for Dad's happiness. Hi, Adrian, right? Are you free tonight? Or whenever? He gave me this cold glance, then went back to chatting with Damien. Please, I'm just trying to win a bet with my sister. One smile from you is enough to save the fate of an entire family and stop 2 girls becoming homeless. Can you just... Adrian gave me this odd look. Then he burst out laughing and took my hand.
Sure thing. Can't wait for our date tonight.
I left in a haze of confusion. That really just happened? Adrian must be messing around. But nope, he actually showed up at my doorstep that evening. This meant I'd won the bet, right? So I called Blair over to show her, but she just brushed it off. That proves nothing. Talk to me when Ice Boy professes his love for you. Man, I guess this means I'm going on a date. The tension in here was palpable, so I decided to break the awkward silence. Hey, where are we going? I mean, this isn't actually a real date, is it?
It's definitely real. You insisted.
I must have looked so dazed that he continued.
Don't worry, I'm not messing with you. Anyway, I think you'll like where I'm taking you.
I used to think he was incapable of smiling, but turns out he looks even cuter when he does. A drive-through cinema? Wow! I'd seen these in old movies, but I had no idea it still existed.
So, what's the deal with your sister Chrissy? You mentioned the bet?
You know that Chrissy is my sister?
Of course, it's not exactly hidden. Besides, I'm friends with Chrissy's boyfriend.
So, you know?
Yep, there's no secrets between me and Damien. And don't worry, I have his back. So, can you answer my question now?
I like this different side to Adrian. So before I could stop myself, I told him how the bet wasn't with Chrissy, but with my other sister, Blair. And I was catfishing Blair as Damien to protect my family, but it's barely working.
Whoa, that's intense. Secrets make things complicated. Life sure would be easier if we could just be ourselves.
So, why did you decide to go on a date with me? Don't you think it's weird?
No, not really. Beats how girls normally ask me out.
I arrived home feeling on cloud 9, but then I walked past Chrissy's room and saw her upset. I asked her what's going on. It's Damien. He wants us to go public, but I told him I'm not ready yet. I like having this part of me private, and I don't want Damien to be open to backlash and scrutiny. But he didn't understand and thought I was embarrassed of him. Oh, Chrissy, what a pain. Give him time, I'm sure he'll come around. But the school performance is in a few days. How am I supposed to take the stage in this state? I hated seeing Chrissy so downhearted like this. And I thought about Adrian and what he said during our date about honesty. I don't know much about the pressures of fame, but I do know that your feelings for Damien are real. I don't think love is something that you should hide. Honesty is the best policy. It might be hard at first, but you can get through it together. Now, come to my case, I should also follow my own advice and put an end to my catfishing before it gets out of hand. I tried hard to think of the best way to break this to Blair while we were walking to school the next day. After much hesitation, I pulled her aside before entering school for a talk. Only, before I could get to the main part, Damien walked past, and oddly, Blair didn't do so much as to blink. Seeing my confusion, she said, "Yesterday he ignored all of my messages. You're right, I deserve someone better. Anyway, what did you want to tell me?" "Oh, my date with Adrian was amazing. It all happened because of you, so thanks. And sorry about Damien. It's okay." That's strange. Did my smitten sister really just give up that easily? But anyway, at least it's all over now. And I don't even have to come clean anymore. The day of Chrissy's performance arrived. Me, Adrian, and Damien had backstage access. Actually, I'm here for emotional support, as Chrissy is about to tell everyone about her relationship with Damien. This is a surprise for Damien, too. He just thinks we're here to get a better view of Chrissy. She slays the performance, and the audience adored her. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much. Actually, today is an extra special day because I have something. But suddenly Blair stormed onto the stage and snatched Chrissy's mic. How about making it even more special with this breaking news? Everyone, she's had a secret boyfriend all this time. She made the poor guy hide in the shadows so she can keep her squeaky clean image. She's lied to you all for years. Is someone like that worthy of your support? Blair ran off as soon as she finished. Boos start coming from the crowd. Many people began commenting on the situation in true TMZ fashion. What is this, 2009 VMA? No way! My Chrissy is taken? Meanwhile, Chrissy had a panic attack and froze there on the stage. I didn't know what to do. Neither did Damien. Luckily, Adrian kept calm and grabbed the walkie-talkie, connected to Chrissy's in-ear. "Chrissy, listen to me. In times like these, there's only one way out, and that's confronting the truth and taking back the narrative." I looked at Adrian and realized something about my own problem. More on that later. For now, let's see how Chrissy handles this. Well, there goes my big reveal. Yes, I'm in a relationship, but I only kept it quiet because I wanted to separate my personal life from my professional one. Being a public figure and a teenager at the same time is not as easy as you might think. So I didn't want to drag my loved one into that life too soon. On reflection, maybe this wasn't the best way to deal with this. I won't hide anything from my fans anymore, and those who truly support me won't judge or speak badly of my decision. Everyone, I want you to meet Damien, my boyfriend. The audience went wild. Aw, this is so cute. But I still had one more problem to deal with. Blair. I looked everywhere and finally found her hiding under the bleachers. "Blair, it's just me. Please come out." I started to talk about what just happened, but Blair didn't want to hear it. "I know everything. You tricked me because you think I'm an idiot. La 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 la." I let her finish her outburst and calm down. Then I apologized and told her the truth. "I only did it because I didn't want you going after a boy who's already taken. I know I went about it in a completely wrong way, but I just wanted to keep our family together. I love you, and I don't want to be in the middle of your jealousy towards Chrissy anymore. If you just gave her a chance..." "You could have just been honest with me. This is all because you prefer Chrissy over me, don't you?" "No, of course not. I just wanted to protect you, and for there to not be any more conflict between you and Chrissy. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Actually, I'm not jealous of Chrissy because she's famous and gorgeous. It's actually because you guys are really close. We used to be that close when our parents divorced, and now it's like I've been replaced." Blair's honesty touched me in the feels. I gave her a big hug, but then realized that we weren't alone. "Actually, I'm jealous of you, Blair. You're all Kiernan ever talks about. And I feel that, even though we're close, I can't compete with her real sister." "Oh, so the tension between them wasn't just over a boy. It was actually over me. To me, you're both my real sisters, and I love you dearly. Come on, sisterly cuddle." "Oh, by the way, how did you know that I was pretending to be Damien?" "I overheard your conversation with Chrissy. It didn't take much digging around to figure out it was you texting me, not the real Damien." "While we're at it, I find it worrying you were still into him after all those red flags. In future, please let me vet your dates first. You're too easily blinded by good looks." "Oh dear. That's why us girls have to stick together, especially when it comes to boys."
Hey, welcome to my coffee booth at Felton High's Flea Market. Just a second, I need to add the finishing touches to this latte. Perfect. Guys, try this. It's the special drink that I came up with for our 2-month anniversary, which, FYI, is today. How romantic. What's the name of this drink? I think Patrick should name it. We can call that Paige's Vom. You know, because it reminds me of when we were 5 and you threw up in the back of my mom's car during our road trip. Stop! I'm not kidding.
Me neither. It's one of my favorite memories, as that's when I fell deeply in love with you. Or how about, why is everything a joke to you? Just leave. We're done. I'm sorry about that. Let's start over. I'm Paige, and everyone calls me Perfect Paige because, well, everything about me is perfect. That must be thanks to my parents. My dad's a hospital director, and my mom's a university president. They both excel in their jobs, juggle family affairs, never quarrel, and always have smiles on their faces. And me, I'm beautiful, smart, and have some talents, such as making drinks. My dream is to run my own coffee shop. On the side of the dream job at the national TV station that I will definitely get. Then I'll come home to my dream boyfriend who's a flawless man that I can count on. And we'll have a perfect love story like my parents. Then why did I choose that funny guy as my boyfriend, you ask? Before he became my now ex, Patrick was a close friend since childhood. We lived in the same neighborhood, and it was my friend Doris's birthday, but she came up with a stupid condition that all the girls had to bring along a boy. Please? This sounded ridiculous, so I presumed it was a joke and showed up alone. Only everyone else had a +1 with them. Paige, you need to stop being so picky and give a guy a chance. How about your bestie Patrick? He's nice, smart, great at basketball, and he's pretty cute, right? No, we go way back. He's all right, I guess, but that's not enough. There's no one on this planet who can reach your ridiculously high standards. He's the best you're going to get. And look, he's also so funny. Patrick's sense of humor is by far his most infuriating trait. Fine, Perfect Paige. You'll just have to show up to the prom alone then. And I doubt that's a perfect thing to do. I guess Doris's words played on my mind, because when Patrick walked me home, I blurted out, hey, if we're both single after we turn 17, then let's date. Then my perfect school year will end with a perfect prom night with my high school sweetheart, just like in a rom-com. Huh? Have you eaten too much frosting or something? No, of course not. I just can't possibly turn up to prom dateless. Oh, the outrage. As if anyone could ever dare to go to prom without a date. But I'm not just anyone. Such a humiliating thing would be a scratch on the diamond, which is me. Okay. I'll do whatever you want. Time passed by and I concentrated on my studies and my hobby. Then before I knew it, I turned 17 and still didn't have a boyfriend. I heard this strange noise coming from my balcony. Patrick? What is he doing with a rose in his mouth? Hey there, do you remember our oath once upon a time? Okay, fine. From today, I allow you to be my boyfriend. Go home and get ready. Tonight will be our first date. Wait, you serious? It's not a joke. Why are you always joking? All right. Where does my love want to go on our first date? So we started dating, and so far, so good. Seeing as he'd known me for years, he knew what I liked and what I was thinking. He never argued with me and just did what I asked. And best of all, everyone complimented us and said we were a match made in heaven. There was just one problem. Patrick's sense of humor was ruining the romantic vibe. So that brings us to the present and why I ended our relationship. Later that night, Patrick called and apologized, but I confirmed that the breakup was still on as I didn't want to cause strain to our friendship. He seemed pretty surprised by this, but Patrick being Patrick, he soon made light of it. Back to the friend zone. Alrighty. So, no need to pick up Paige every morning anymore. Nice. See you in math class. For some reason, I was a little sad that he'd agreed to do this so quickly, but it had just been a dumb fling anyway, right? But hang on, what about prom? I couldn't lose face with my friends, so I joined a dating app to continue the search for my Prince Charming. Too short, too nerdy, too glary. And after days of desperately swiping, I finally found a guy that caught my eye. I mean, I couldn't really see his face, but he had to be hot. I messaged him right away, and you know what? We got on so well and soon arranged a date. I fixed my hair one more time and walked over to him. Hello, you. Patrick? Surprise, my bae. I'm your perfect mystery partner. Patrick, I swear to God! How do you feel? Angry much, huh? Then now you know how my poor heart felt when you broke it to pieces. I was fuming, but Patrick kept up his annoying grin. So you're that starving for love? All right, I know your ideal type way too well. Let me find you a guy. You know, attractive boys tend to hang out in a herd. We'll see. You know, being handsome is only one thing on my list. The first candidate was this guy called Beavis, the basketball team captain. We started talking, and it went well enough for him to invite me to go watch his game. He even winked at me before he scored a perfect three-pointer. All the jealous glances turned to me. Looks like Patrick really found me a good deal.
At first, this was kind of cool, but soon all of the love letters and gifts Beavis received got kind of grating. Worst of all, he accepted them all. He didn't seem to be faithful at all. Also, his grades really sucked, and he was always so sweaty. This first candidate is out. Next was Daniel, a cute genius who liked to invent things. I really love how passionate he looks when he's working on something. He's so talented. But he always showed up late to our date with the excuse there was some machine malfunction. His clothes were always stained with grease, and all he talked about was research. Oh, actually, I have zero idea what you're on about. You're so robotic. I went home and already saw Patrick making himself at home in our living room. He must have heard the news. So, Sporty Boy has too many fangirls. No good. Mechanic Boy is too busy. No good. Then maybe a rich boy with a lot of free time could treat you like a princess. Patrick introduced me to this guy called Eric, the school rich kid who showered me with lavish gifts. That was nice, but then his clinginess felt suffocating. He always seemed to be there, and he wouldn't quit calling and texting me. He also spent longer than I did getting ready. No thanks.
Why?
You're too clingy. If you have too much time on your hands, then why don't you go do something useful?
What? I only cling on to you because I care. But I guess I was just wasting my time on useless things because you're just a stubborn, spoiled girl that finds fault in everything and doesn't appreciate other people's feelings.
No one's ever spoken to me like that before. Useless? Stubborn? Spoiled? Eric's words were still echoing in my head as I walked home. Then I saw Patrick approaching.
What's up? Who got you mad this time? Is it Eric? His downside is being too rich, isn't he?
Not Eric, it's you. You deliberately set me up with those weirdos, didn't you?
What are you saying? I only chose the guys that suit you best.
No, they don't. I don't think you really understand me at all.
Oh, really? How well do you understand me then? If you're that confident, then go find me an ideal girlfriend.
Fine. Maybe you'll quit bugging me if you're taken. Turns out trying to find a girlfriend for Patrick was trickier than I thought. He's so friendly with everyone, I actually have no idea what his type is. Whatever. He made no effort to find me a nice guy anyway, so I'll just return the favor. Nope. Oh, Nina. I know her. A scandalous hot girl who always goes overboard on the wax statue makeup. I'm pretty sure she likes Patrick, as she's always cheering him from the sidelines during his games. Patrick, let's see what fun date you can have with this girl. The next day, I walked straight up to Nina and asked her if she wanted to go on a date with Patrick. She looked kind of surprised, but then after thinking it over, she agreed. They met at a cafe, and after I introduced them to each other, I sat at a nearby table and observed. I expected things between them to be super awkward, but surprisingly, they seemed to get along quite well. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but they kept bursting out laughing. They acted like they'd known each other for ages. Patrick and Nina bid farewell, and as soon as Nina walked away, I jumped out and asked, "How can you have fun chatting with Nina all night? Don't you see her laughing out loud? That's not very ladylike."
So she's fun. Everyone has flaws, though I don't even think it's a flaw. It's cute.
Fine, let's see how long you two can have fun. But in the following days, I still saw Patrick with Nina. Then at school, I overheard Nina talking to her friends. "Tonight? No wonder you've been looking so happy all day. Of course, it's going to be a big confession." Huh? They've only been dating for 5 minutes. I wonder why Patrick liked Nina that much. So I decided to stalk them. I followed them to this posh restaurant. Ugh, so humiliating. Who would have thought that Perfect Page would do something like this? But there's no way back now. They spoke for a bit, then Patrick went to answer a phone call. I thought he was going to plan his confession or something. But then, to my surprise, a man swooped in and sat down with his arm around Nina. That's Beavis! What? How could they be so shameless? I quickly ran to find Patrick, who was chilling in a corner, so I quickly pulled him back to the table. "Look, you're being cheated on."
Cheated on? What do you mean?
The girl who's been clinging on to you for days has been flirting with your teammate. Stop playing dumb, please.
Nina is just my friend. She likes Beavis, not me.
Nina clearly likes you. She follows you to every game. How could she switch to Beavis out of nowhere? You should defend me, not a stranger like her.
Did you forget Patrick and I are teammates? Nina was actually there for me.
I agreed to meet Patrick just because I wanted to ask him to talk to Beavis for me. Sorry for misleading you.
What's with a bulldog's frown? We just successfully match-made a couple. Let's go give the lovebird some private space. I guess you'll have to find me another girl.
Don't act like we're close. I don't want a flippant and heartless friend like you.
You're the heartless one. You're making a mess with your ridiculous standards and expect others to follow all of that, then act like a victim? Don't you see how Patrick is the real casualty here?
He tended to your absurd needs, even helped you get a boyfriend, yet all you do is treat him like garbage. Selfish Paige. You're not as perfect as you think. What? What do you know? You're just a plastic girl after all. Yeah, I might be plastic, but at least I realize what my flaws are to try to fix them. Unlike you. You call yourself a diamond when actually you're just a silly pebble. Was this really what people thought of me? I couldn't believe anyone would ever describe me with such ugly words. I ran home and shut myself away in my room. It made me so distraught knowing that other people thought I was bad like that. Mom came into my room to check on me, and I ended up blurting everything to her. How everyone seemed to hate me now. How I might be alone for the rest of my life without finding my perfect other half and having a happy ending like Mom and Dad.
Sweetie, everyone has flaws. I do, and so does your father. I can have quite the temper, but your dad always knows what to say and do to calm me down, while he is terrible at being romantic, so I have to give him hints now and then. Point is, we accept and love each other, flaws and all. That's the secret to a long and happy marriage.
Talking to Mom really helped me understand that no one is perfect, and therefore my standards are unreasonable. I had some apologizing to do. I texted Beavis, Daniel, Eric, and Nina. Beavis replied straight away, telling me he was sorry too for what he said, but it came from a good place, and he's sure that I was better than that because he trusts Patrick's eye for people. Now there was just one last apology for me to make, and I needed to do this one in person. Oh, looks like he already found me.
Hey, Shotty. Are you looking for me? The most handsome guy in town?
Please stop. I came to talk to you about something serious.
I came to see you too. Trust me, I didn't match you with those silly guys on purpose. In no way do I want to hurt you, because I like you, Paige. For real.
Since when? I just thought we were just good friends.
Since we started dating. At first I just went along with it, but gradually I found myself having real feelings for you. I'm so sorry for causing you trouble. Being around you makes my head fuzzy. I always crack jokes just because I want to make you smile, but turns out you don't feel the same. I will try to keep it down from now on.
No, I'm sorry too. You don't have to change anything for me. It's the real you after all. I've truly learned it now. Nobody's perfect, and it's the way people complete each other's imperfections with their personality differences that tighten their relationships. And maybe being perfect is my imperfection. So now you have my permission to offset it with your annoying unseriousness.
So, where were we? As a couple? Ha! Oh right, Paige's vomit. Shall we go home and make that signature drink again? Just kidding.
Just another beautiful Sunday. I was bragging to Nanny Emma about my wonderful adventure. Goodness, that's incredible. Weren't you scared? Of course not. Dad taught me. Why are you still here, Amy? Get ready for your piano lesson. Oh, it's Mom. Again. She rushed in, snatched the phone out of my hand, said, "Go now or I'll delete all these videos." Okay, just delete them. Nothing you do could ever make me care more about those noise-making logs. Then I left to my room. Always ballet and piano and violin. What kind of mother forces their kid to do things they don't like? Ugh, I won't back down this time. I have my videos all backed up online anyway. She can't control me. What? Huh? What else? I turn around to see Mom drop to her knees. No, it can't be. Just this morning, my husband was still... Dad had suffered a stroke on a trip to survey a gem mine, and they couldn't reach the hospital in time to save him. How could that be? He's not only my dad, he's my bestest friend. I bet the news is just as hard to deal with for my sister Brianna, as she was always the one who went on business expeditions with him. He's the best dad we could ever ask for. But he's gone, and it felt like Emma and Brianna were the only people who really loved me now. Just last week, Dad was sitting here, next to me. Darling, it's not good for you to just sit home and wallow. Why don't you get out of here for a few days? And go where? Next week, your sister is going on a trip to a new mine. You can tag along. I'm sure she'd enjoy the company. I don't know. I don't like business trips. I'll bet you can make time for some adventures while you're there. There's bound to be hiking and things you like to do. Since when does Mom support any of my hobbies? She really must not want me around, huh? If that's what she wants. Okay then. Sure. We were already running late for our flight when Brianna realized she had forgotten her passport. I offered to stay with her, but she insisted that at least one of us should make the flight. She assured me she'd be back in time for the next flight and we'd see each other soon, so I hugged her goodbye and headed toward the gate. While waiting for Brianna to arrive, I've already booked myself a skydiving session, as recommended by the hotel's receptionist. This thing is right up my alley, but the weather doesn't look too good. Are you sure this is normal?
100%. That's what makes it special here. People come from all over just for these wins. This is what you call extreme sports, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Bring it on. So on the count of 3, I was free-falling. It was an unrivaled exhilaration, the ultimate thrill, until I deployed my parachute. Instead of gently floating to the ground, I was carried away by gust after gust of wind. Then I blacked out. I slowly opened my eyes. What has happened? Am I in heaven now? I look around to see nothing but a beach, framed by a dense forest. This place was clearly deserted. Maybe not so deserted. There I saw a group of tribal people, dressed in strange clothes, wielding spears. I tried to move closer to get a better look, but game over. They all turned to my direction. I ducked down immediately, but their footsteps grew louder. I held my breath, wishing for a miracle. Oh no, this is definitely my end. But unexpectedly, the hand pushed me down further into the bushes, as if they were trying to hide me. I looked up and saw it was a man talking to the other in a native language. The talking stopped. Seemed like the rest had left. Thank you so much, handsome mister. Sorry for bothering you. I'm gonna get going now.
I may have let you off, but the others won't. These people are aggressive and will attack any intruder.
Oh, he can speak English? Nice! I'm safe now! As I followed him through the forest, he stayed quiet, but I couldn't help brimming with questions. Where did you come from? Why are you here? You're not a local, right? Are you a scientist? Can you at least tell me your name?
Silas.
Okay, Silas. May I borrow your phone to call my sister? She'll pick me right up.
Do you think I'd be here if I had a phone? I also got here by an accident a couple of years ago. Living like one of them is the only way to survive around here. At least until someone comes to save us.
No, that can't be. It wasn't a deserted island, but I was certainly deserted on it. We arrived at a cave on the other side of the island where, according to Silas, the locals never roam around.
You'll be safe here. I'll be right back.
I didn't need him to take care of me. He may have stayed here for years, but I won't. I'll escape. It wouldn't be so hard to build a raft, right? So I gathered some logs.
You hungry?
Silas came back and threw something wrapped in leaves. Ah! Get these gross bugs away from me! I would rather starve.
These are a delicacy. You have no taste. Stay here. Don't do anything stupid.
It's getting dark, so I had no choice but to go to sleep hungry in the stuffy, mucky cave. There's dirty moss and bugs everywhere. Ew! At the break of dawn, I couldn't stand it any longer. I got up to continue working on my raft. Ta-da! Easy peasy. Now goodbye, stupid island! But no! My beautiful raft crumbled and sank as soon as it touched the water. Feeling defeated, I laid on the sand in frustration. Suddenly, I heard a whistle. Silas? How am I supposed to get up there? Am I his pet or something? What gives? Making me walk all the way up here? Mind you, I haven't eaten in a day.
Then let's go get breakfast. But get changed first.
He then took me to a river and showed me how to catch fishes. What do you mean I'm supposed to get my breakfast with this stick?
Watch and learn, princess.
Then Silas jabbed the spear into the water again and again until it's full of fishes. Okay, wanna challenge me? Psst, that's easy. Only, it's not. It's like the fishes could read my mind. It's been like half an hour and still nothing.
There's plenty of fish in the sea, but somehow you can't catch any. Don't expect anything from my batch.
Whatever. I'm not hungry. I don't need him. My sister will surely come and get me out of here on our private chopper soon. But Silas was really rubbing it in, grilling fish in front of me until the delicious smell filled my nose. But no way I'd give in to this.
This is your best bet. Unless you want to try grilled rat or cicada or...
Fine, gimme.
When we first met, I thought you were cute. But after seeing this...
Ugh, this smug Tarzan.
Full now? Then it's time for work.
Work? So you're only keeping me around to be your slave?
Do you want to keep living in that cave? You shouldn't steal the bugs home like that.
We continued to walk deeper into the jungle until we reached this huge tree.
We should build you a shelter up there. You'll be safe from the wildlife, and the natives don't go to this area.
Does it need to be up so high? If they are that dangerous, how come you survive here this long? Are you playing me?
I got really lucky. I was swept away by a storm while sailing alone. And when I washed up here, the natives were so ready to, send me to God. But thankfully, the chief's daughter, Nora, desperately begged her father to let me live. And for some reason, he did. That wouldn't happen to just anyone.
Oh, this Nora girl must have been caught in some love at first sight. That's why you stayed here all this time. So romantic.
Stop wasting time. Let's get to work.
Building a shelter proved to be more difficult than expected. And Silas proved to be quite bossy.
Hand me the big branch. Bigger. Amy, rattan rope. Give me another knife.
Just wait a second. Let me catch my breath.
You were so determined a few minutes ago. Go take a break. I want to finish this before sunset.
I sat there, watching Silas work as the afternoon turned to dusk. And I must have dozed off for a while, as when I woke up, the treehouse was done. To be honest, it was better than what I expected from him. But where is he? I looked around, but the only thing I found was his scribbles on the ground. Stay here. I was glad to have my own shelter, but there was nothing to do to pass the time. Suddenly, there was a sound. Must be coming from the tribe. I followed the direction of the sound, hoping not to get lost. But soon enough, I found a clearing where a group of the natives were gathered around a huge bonfire. They were chanting something. Others were dancing, others cheered. It looked like they were having fun, which hit me with a wave of homesickness. For a moment, I was so lost in their celebration that I forgot I was being stealthy. Uh-oh, not again! I could have tried to run, but I froze. Thankfully, Silas stepped forward, telling the others to stay. As he approached, we made eye contact briefly before he signaled people that the coast was clear, then gave me a quick wink before returning to the fire. Shortly after I returned home, Silas did too.
Are you trying to get yourself killed? I'm not kidding when I say it will be very bad if they find out about you.
I'm sorry. I'm just scared and lonely. I'm all by myself and my family must be looking for me everywhere. To my surprise, Silas came over to comfort me.
Everything's gonna be all right. I got you.
Who? Where? How are you here? She clearly didn't know much English, but her weapon pointed at me was enough to know that she was angry. Silas immediately ran over to calm her down. I didn't know what they were saying, but she left, though not before giving me one last dirty look. Turned out it was Nora. Oh, what a relief! An acquaintance! Why didn't you tell me earlier?
Don't celebrate too soon. Nora insisted you leave immediately.
Oh, she knows how? Then I don't have much of a choice whether I stay or leave here, do I?
Don't worry. I'll take care of Nora.
And he must have, because the days passed by and the natives never came to drive me out. Silas continued to visit me every day, bringing cloves, teaching me how to pick fruit, swing on branches. Soon the work turned to play. He started teaching me tribal dances and vocabulary, and we visited the waterfalls and lakes around the island. It's pretty fun. It felt like going on adventures with my dad again. Confident in my knowledge of the island, I started to venture out on my own. But Silas didn't prepare me for this. A leopard showed itself and slowly moved towards me. I tried to stay composed to find a way to escape, even though every bit of me was freaking out, when suddenly, Nora jumped down from nowhere and petted the leopard as if it was her little kitten. She gave it a fish and the kitty just happily ran away. Thank you so much. I'm Amy, Silas's friend. Silas, mine! Yes, he's all yours. I hate him so much. I wouldn't even touch a strand of his hair. Silas? Ew. No. Nora huffs loudly before leaving.
Here. Or maybe I shouldn't share it with you since you hate me so much.
Oh, stop it. My life was on the line. It was not time to confess my feelings. Oops, what did I just say? I continued to stutter, making lame excuses. You're not even listening to me, are you? You haven't heard a thing I've said.
Huh? What did you say?
He grinned and left without another word. I couldn't stop smiling at the silly bracelet. The island isn't really that bad. I have the freedom I've always wanted. I wake up with the sunrise and have things like this. This really is the life. One day, the sun had already set and Silas still hadn't come over. I was starting to worry when he arrived with, Nora? Silas said she wanted to bring me some clothes. I was relieved that she finally wanted to make peace, but her expression confused me. When I thanked her, she didn't say a thing or even smile. We sat around the fire. Silas and I talked about one thing after another. Oops, we might have forgotten about Nora. But the language barrier really is a big deal, you know. And so she just sat there sulking. Suddenly, she stood up, causing hot coal to splatter all over me. Silas hastily helped me clean my hands as Nora stormed off. Is she okay? Maybe you should go follow her. But Silas reassured me she'd be fine and went to find aloe vera sap for my burns. I think she misinterprets our relationship.
Does she? 'Cause I too thought there was something going on.
I was too surprised, but managed to gather myself enough to reply clumsily. Says who? I don't think you've formally courted me, sir.
Tomorrow will be our first date then. In the mushroom forest. What do you say?
I was glad Silas had saved this place for a date, because everything about it was curious and beautiful. Before long, I had wandered far ahead of Silas. I knew I had gone too far, but something drew me deeper into the forest. I walked along this cave, as I thought I saw a ray of light at the end. And there really was! The cave was not a dead end, but it was just covered by vines. And, oh my god, this is like a whole nother paradise that hasn't been discovered. And there was wreckage of an old helicopter. I immediately called Silas over, and he seemed to not have any idea about this either. We explored the helicopter the whole morning, but it was nothing except a rusted hunk of junk. We were about to leave when Silas hit a button, and the radio came to life. We had found our new hobby. Since then, we went there every day, listening to music and pre-recorded content on the stereo. But eventually, we somehow got a faint radio signal, and for the first time, we had some connection to the outside world. I normally didn't care so much for news, but my interest was piqued by a familiar-sounding story.
Right after the death of the biggest name in the gem industry, his wife was kicked out of the house. Any relations to the missing of the youngest daughter? Who will be the winner of the fight for his inheritance?
Was this real? Were they talking about my family on the radio? Why would my mother leave? I then recalled my mother's strange behavior before I left. She, for the first time, encouraged me to go on an adventure, and I somehow ended up here. Was it even a coincidence? Oh no, how could a mother do this to her own daughter?
Calm down. I believe there's more to this. Don't jump to conclusions yet. Personally, I don't think tigers eat their young.
Maybe, maybe not. There's only one way to find out. I need to go home. Immediately.